Hello everyone, my name is Ray, and I'll be your narrator on this journey. Before we begin, take a deep breath and settle in. What you're about to hear isn't just a story, it's an experience. It starts with sunlight and calm skies, but beneath that serenity, something unsettling waits to unfold. Stay with me and listen closely. The smallest details, the quietest whispers, may become keys to survival. So lean back, let your imagination take flight, and prepare for a tale that begins with hope and wonder, but slowly, inexorably, spirals into something far darker. This is Chapter 1.
The world was a brilliant, sun-drenched tapestry of cotton-wool clouds and endless blue, a perfect mirror to the soaring feeling in Ethan's chest. At 30,000 feet, encased in the low hum of a Boeing 737, he felt untouchable. The past was a closed book, the future a glittering promise, and the present was the warm, sleeping weight of Chloe's head on his shoulder. He watched her, memorizing the way a stray strand of her dark hair fluttered with each recycled breath from the air vent, the serene curve of her eyelashes against her cheek. This trip was their victory lap. 4 years of late-night study sessions, shared pizzas, and mutual panic over finals had culminated in 2 pieces of paper with fancy calligraphy, and now this, a week of hiking and lazy afternoons by a lake, a celebration of their graduation and, though unspoken, their future together. The metallic chime of the cabin speakers was a gentle intrusion. The captain's voice, calm and professional, but with a subtle underlying tautness, announced, "Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. We're currently cruising at 37,000 feet, enjoying some beautiful smooth air ahead of a high-pressure system. I do, however, have a slight update for you all regarding our flight path. We've been instructed by air traffic control to make a minor adjustment to our route. This is due to unexpected military activity in our intended corridor. Nothing to be concerned about from a safety perspective, but it will require us to divert slightly north. Our new flight path will take us over some beautiful West Virginia scenery, including the impressive new River Gorge Bridge. The trade-off, I'm afraid, is that we're looking at an estimated arrival delay of approximately 2 hours. I apologize for any inconvenience this may cause to your travel plans. We'll update you with more information as we have it. Thank you for your patience."
A collective, weary groan rippled through the cabin. The rustle of unfolded schedules, the soft curses of passengers calculating missed connections, and the resigned sigh of a child asking, "Are we there yet?" It was the universal soundtrack of airline inconvenience. Chloe stirred, blinking sleep from her eyes, murmured, "What was that? Delay?" Ethan reassuringly said, "Yeah, some military thing. We're going to be a couple of hours late. We're going to fly over some bridge in West Virginia instead." Chloe sat up, stretching her arms with a grimace, then added with a playful smirk, "See? This is what happens when you let the guy who buys generic brand cereal book the flights. You get military activity air. I told you we should have used my miles." He forced a smile, ready to volley back a quip about her extravagant taste in direct flight tickets. But the words died in his throat. His gaze had drifted absently to the window, to the endless expanse of blue, but his mind was no longer seeing the sky. It was seeing a word, a name, a location burned onto a tiny, impossible screen. New River Gorge Bridge. The blood drained from his face so completely he felt lightheaded. A cold, sharp dread, entirely alien to the warm cabin, lanced through his gut. The cheerful banter, the post-graduation euphoria, the simple comfort of Chloe's presence, it all evaporated, replaced by a sudden, primal void. Chloe's voice, now concerned, asked, "Ethan? Honey, you okay? You look like you've seen a ghost." Ethan managed to say, his voice tight and unfamiliar, "It's not the delay or the airline." Chloe, pressing him with genuine worry, asked, "Then what? You're scaring me." Ethan, stumbling, fearful, his voice dropping to a near whisper, began, "I don't know how to tell you this. It's really profoundly weird. You know me, Chloe. You know how I am. I know what I'm about to say sounds funny, but it scared me. It really scared me." Chloe pressed again, her grip tightening on his arm. "What did?" Ethan took a shaky breath, his eyes darting around the cabin, then dropped his voice to a near whisper. "You remember that package that came last week? The one from Amazon?" Chloe relaxed slightly, a smile touching her lips, then dismissed it. "The weird watch thing? The biological scanner or whatever? The one you said was a total scam, but the price was too good to pass up? Did it break already? Is that it? Ethan, it was $20. Ethan's voice became intensely serious, a near whisper. "It's not broken." After a beat, he continued, "When I put it on, it did this whole light show. Blue LEDs scanned my wrist. Then the screen went blank for a second, and then text appeared. Just one line." He met her eyes, willing her to believe him, to see the genuine terror he felt. It said, "Place of death, New River Gorge Bridge." Chloe stared at him for a long moment. Then a short, nervous burst of laughter escaped her as she tried to be logical and dismissive. "Oh, come on. Seriously? That's the gimmick? That's so morbid and cheap. They probably just have a list of famous landmarks they cycle through. Statue of Liberty, Golden Gate Bridge, Grand Canyon, New River Gorge. It's a random number generator, Ethan. It's a toy." Ethan, frustrated and insistent, exclaimed, I know that. I thought it was hilarious. I even left a review saying, 'Great prank. Guess I'll never go to West Virginia.' I forgot about it 5 minutes later." But Chloe, the pilot, he just said it. He just said we're flying over it right now. The color in Chloe's face diminished slightly. The coincidence was undeniably spooky. She shook her head, a defense mechanism against the creeping unease, and said with finality, trying to seal the subject, "It's a coincidence, a really, really freaky one. But that's all it is. We're in a plane, Ethan. We're not on the bridge. We're flying over it, see? The stupid watch is already wrong." But the box wouldn't close. The dread in Ethan's stomach had taken root, feeding on the sheer astronomical unlikelihood of it all. A military diversion? To this specific, remote landmark? The one place a novelty item had foretold he would die? Their debate continued in hushed, intense tones, oscillating between logic and fear. Chloe, the psychology major, cited confirmation bias and the human tendency to find patterns in chaos. Ethan, the computer scientist, couldn't escape the binary truth of the input and the output, the watch's prediction and the pilot's confirmation. The seed of doubt had been planted, and in the pressurized cabin, it was growing at an alarming rate. It was during this tense back and forth that Ethan first noticed the man. He was pacing the aisle a few rows ahead, not the casual bored stroll of someone heading to the lavatory, but a jerky, agitated movement. A man in his late 40s, with thinning, disheveled hair and clothes that looked like they'd been slept in. A rumpled polo shirt and khakis. His eyes were wide, bloodshot, and they darted frantically from face to face as he passed each row, a silent, desperate plea etched into his features. He was wringing his hands, his fingers twisting together as if trying to wash something away. Ethan felt a strange pull, a morbid fascination. This man was a mirror reflecting back the raw, undiluted panic that Ethan was struggling to suppress. The man's gaze swept over them, past them, and then snapped back.
His eyes, wide with a terror that seemed to eclipse Ethan's own, locked onto Ethan's. They dropped to Ethan's wrist, to the gunmetal gray band, and a look of profound, gut-wrenching recognition dawned on his face. He stumbled toward them, his movements uncoordinated. He reached their row and gripped the headrest of the empty seat beside Ethan, his knuckles white. He smelled of stale coffee and cold sweat. In a dry, papery whisper, barely audible over the engine's drone, the man asked with desperate hope, Are you Ethan Reed's 97?
The air left Ethan's lungs. It was like being physically struck. How could this stranger, this terrified ghost of a man, know his anonymous Amazon username? The world seemed to tilt, the cabin walls closing in. Ethan stammered, his heart hammering. That's my username. How did you know that? The man's face collapsed. The desperate hope that had been flickering in his eyes extinguished itself, replaced by a grim, horrifying resignation as he murmured, I wish it wasn't you, Reed's 97. I was praying I wouldn't find you. Without asking, he slid into the empty window seat next to Ethan, his body trembling. Chloe was frozen, her eyes wide, her hand gripping Ethan's arm like a vice. The comfortable world of rational explanations had just been shattered. The man, Arthur, his voice gaining a sliver of strength though still quavering, rushed out, My name is Arthur. Art finds deals. That's me. He held up his own left wrist, displaying the same gunmetal gray watch. Arthur continued in a frantic stream. I bought it too, the watch. Thought it was a laugh, a conversation starter. When I put it on, it gave me the same message, New River Gorge Bridge. I laughed it off, deleted the email receipt, forgot about it. He ran a hand through his already disheveled hair. Then the pilot came on, said the words. My blood went cold. I thought it's a coincidence, a sick, twisted joke of the universe. But I couldn't just sit there. I had to know. He looked at Ethan, his eyes pleading for understanding. I pulled out my phone. I went back to the Amazon page. I started reading the reviews, really reading them. Most are jokes, people laughing about dying at Disney World or the Eiffel Tower, but some aren't joking. They're scared. They're confused. And then I found your review, Reed's 97. You said you'd never even been there. You had no plans to go. And I thought, if he's on this plane, if we're both here? He didn't need to finish the sentence. The implication hung in the air, thick and suffocating. A coincidence was one thing. Two strangers, linked by a shared, morbid prediction from the same obscure product, now being forcibly taken to that very location against all odds, that was no longer coincidence. That was pattern. That was design. A cold, heavy certainty settled in Ethan's stomach. The abstract fear crystallized into something horrifyingly real. This was happening. Arthur's palpable terror was the proof. It was infectious, and it flooded Ethan's system, wiping away the last vestiges of skepticism. Ethan whispered, the words tasting like ash. Here I am. Arthur, with abrupt, nervous energy, his focus shifting, said, We have to find the others. There have to be others. We can't be the only ones. Chloe, her voice small, asked, Others? On the reviews. People who got the same prediction. We have to find them on this plane. The three of them pulled out their phones, connecting shakily to the plane's paid Wi-Fi. The Amazon page loaded slowly, agonizingly. Finally, the product appeared. Bioscanner Fate Reader. The title was pompous, the product images slick with fake technobabble about biometric resonance and quantum destiny mapping. They scrolled down past the joking 5-star reviews, can't wait to die at the Louvre, #worth it, and the angry 1-star reviews, stopped working after one day, scam. Looking for something specific, something real. And they found them. A review from Chloe Buys Best. This thing says I'm going to die at the new River Gorge Bridge. I'm a homeschool mom of 3 in Nebraska. I've never even heard of it. Creepy. Returning. And then another from Sam Quickfinds. Place of death. New River Gorge Bridge. Well, that's a new one for the bucket list. Not. And finally, with a hint of exasperation in the quoted text, from Liz Online Shop. What an easy trick to spot. I pass by this place almost daily because I work on a train that passes by the new River Gorge rail line. Are you using an AI app to find out the most frequented places to make this look real, you idiots? Arthur breathed, his fingers stabbing at the screen. 4 of us. There are 4 of us. Ethan, his throat tight, corrected. 5. You, me, this Chloe Buys Best, Sam Quickfinds, and Liz Online Shop. Chloe's analytical mind kicked into gear, seizing on the solid piece of data. Liz is on a train. She works on the train that goes over the rail line by the bridge. A plan, desperate and born of panic, formed instantly. They had to find the other 2. Chloe Buys Best and Sam Quickfinds had to be on this plane. They had to be. Arthur, already unbuckling his seatbelt with trembling hands, urged, "We split up. I'll take the front, you 2 take the back. Look for anyone who looks scared. Look for the watch." It was a preposterous mission, a needle in a haystack at 500 miles per hour. But action was better than the paralyzing alternative. Ethan and Chloe moved toward the rear of the cabin, their eyes scanning the rows. A woman soothing a crying baby. A businessman focused on a spreadsheet. A group of teenagers sharing earbuds and laughing. Everyone looked bored, tired, or annoyed. No one looked like they were harboring a secret terror. No one else had the telltale gray band on their wrist. Their search was careful, discreet. Ethan pretended to look for the lavatory. Chloe feigned stretching her legs. They met back at their seats, their eyes meeting in mutual, crushing defeat. Nothing. Arthur returned a moment later, slumping into his seat. His face was pale, sheened with a new layer of sweat. He shook his head and said, hollow and defeated, "No one. I didn't see anyone. It's just us."
The defeat was a physical weight on Ethan's shoulders. The initial shock was wearing off, replaced by a grinding, helpless anxiety. They were trapped in a metal tube, being delivered to a destination they were supposedly fated to die at, and they were powerless to stop it. He picked up his phone again, staring blindly at the Amazon page, the glowing reviews a testament to their isolation. And then he saw it. Really saw it. Liz Online Shop's review. "I work on a train that passes by the new River Gorge rail line." His mind, trained to see connections, to process data, finally made the leap. It wasn't just about the bridge. It wasn't just about our plane. Ethan, his voice low and urgent, said, "Arthur, Chloe, the train." Arthur, his voice dull with despair, asked, "What about it?" Ethan explained the terrifying connection, letting the implication hang in the air for a beat. "Liz is on a train that goes by the bridge. Today. Our plane is being diverted to fly over that same bridge. Today. What if it's not about us dying on the bridge? What if it's about us dying at the bridge? What if the disaster isn't our plane crashing? What if it's our plane and her train?" The silence that followed was deafening. It was a theory of such catastrophic scale that it momentarily short-circuited fear itself. It was too big, too horrible to comprehend. Chloe was the first to speak, her psychology background latching on to the human element, her voice urgent and analytical. "We need to contact her, right now. We need to find out when her train is scheduled to be on that bridge." Arthur, a hint of hysteria creeping back into his voice, demanded, "How? It's an Amazon review. There's no direct message system. She's anonymous."
Ethan, a new, frantic energy taking hold, was already typing, his fingers flying across the screen. "No, but she's not," he said. "People are creatures of habit. They reuse usernames." He opened a new tab, Googling the username. Nothing. He tried Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn. Then, with growing certainty, bingo! A LinkedIn profile loaded. Elizabeth Liz Tran, freight conductor, based in West Virginia. Her profile picture showed a woman with a bright, confident smile and intelligent eyes standing in front of a massive locomotive. Chloe whispered, leaning in, "That's her." Arthur's heart sank. "I can't message her. I don't have a premium account. It's a dead end." Chloe, grabbing her own phone, found recent activity. "No, it's not," she said. "Look at her recent activity. She posted a photo 3 days ago." She enlarged the picture. It was a casual shot of Liz and a colleague in a train cab giving a thumbs up. The caption read, "Another beautiful day on the Cardinal line with my partner in crime, Ben. Shift starts at 1:15 p.m. Let's roll." Ethan checked the time on his phone. It was 12:05 p.m. Eastern Time. The Cardinal line. He knew that name. It was a famous Amtrak route. A quick search confirmed it. The Cardinal's route included the new River Gorge. Arthur, his voice trembling, said, "She's on her shift now. Her train is already running."
Ethan's mind was racing, calculating distances, speeds, the plane's diversion, a train on a known schedule. They were two vectors on a collision course with an invisible point of intersection. The bridge. The decision solidified into certainty. Ethan said, "We have to warn the captain. We have to tell him he can't fly over that bridge, not at the same time as that train." Arthur, his eyes wild, demanded hysterically, "And say what? Tell him a $20 watch from Amazon told us so? He'll have us arrested. They'll think we're terrorists." Ethan insisted, already unbuckling his belt, "We have to try. What's the alternative? We just sit here and wait for it to happen?" The chime of the cabin speakers interrupted them again. This time, the captain's voice was different. The professional calm was still there, but it was layered over a new, unmistakable tension. The captain's urgent voice announced, "Ladies and gentlemen, this is the captain again. We're beginning our initial descent toward our revised flight path. You may start to feel some minor turbulence as we adjust our altitude. Flight attendants, please prepare the cabin for our approach." Approach. The word was a death knell. Ethan looked out the window. The endless blue was gone. Below them, the land had risen up to meet them. It was a dramatic, beautiful, and terrifying landscape of deep, emerald green valleys and razor-backed ridges carved by time and water. And there, in the distance, spanning one of those vast, breathtaking chasms, was a thin, gray line. The new River Gorge Bridge. It was real. It was below them, and they were flying straight for it. The three of them stared, speechless, as the plane began its gentle, fatal turn, lining up its approach. The race against time had begun, and they were already losing. That concludes Chapter 1 of New River Gorge, The Final Descent, The Diverted Path. Thank you so much for listening and letting me guide you through this first part of the journey. Take a moment to breathe. Things have only just begun. Chapter 2 is coming soon, and it's packed with twists, revelations, and choices that will change everything you think you know about this story. I can't wait for you to hear it. Until then, stay curious and stay with me.